Hey everyone, welcome back. We are doing a breakup recovery series here on my channel. When you are going through a breakup, when you're going through a divorce, there is a lot of stuff to cover. There are so many different types of situations and circumstances that you have to go through. So in this video, we are going to talk about just the kind of pull that we have sometimes to want to stay in these relationships. After getting out of a toxic relationship, there is a period where you kind of like look back and you ask yourself, like, why did I put up with all of that? What was going on here? How did I not see that? After getting out of a toxic relationship, a lot of people will kind of look back and think, oh my God, what was going on inside of me? Why did I not see those red flags? Why was that not as obvious as it is now? And we think sometimes that, nope, I will never do that ever again. I will never make the same mistake twice. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. Sometimes we end up repeating the same dysfunctional patterns over and over again. Whether we know it or not, we have this desire to want to be with a toxic person. Logically, we understand that that's not okay, that it's not healthy, that this person isn't healthy and not right for us, but we still have this pull to want to be with this type of person. This is kind of the people that are struggling with being attracted to the nice guy or being attracted to the good girl. This is also a clear sign that you are still unhealed. Now, if you're just coming out of a breakup or just going through a divorce, then chances are that's very well the case. You are definitely unhealed. So we are going to talk about this pull that we have sometimes to want to be with toxic people. Most people don't really self-reflect when they are coming out of a relationship, whether you're going through a breakup or a divorce, because in order to self-reflect, not only do you have to look at the other person, which a lot of times we can do that. It's very easy to want to just dissect someone and put them in this little box. But to do that with ourselves, sometimes we don't really do that. And unfortunately, we do have to do it because that's where we're going to learn the biggest lessons, not just about other people, but about ourselves. We can learn all about narcissism, codependency, emotional abuse. You can learn everything under the sun, but when the time actually comes to make a different decision, to do something different, are you going to, or are you going to keep repeating the same patterns? No matter what you learn or what insights you gain from looking at that relationship and dissecting that other person, that's really not going to always help you. It's going to help a little tiny bit, but it's not really going to be the overall thing that's going to help you to work on yourself to do something different next time. This is about you and undoing things from your past that have probably been there even prior to this relationship that have never been dealt with, because all of those things have actually led you to this point. Regardless of whether you left the relationship or someone left you, we can all experience trauma. And when we experience trauma, when we've been in toxic relationships, when we've been in just relationships that just weren't healthy, we weren't healthy, that person wasn't healthy, we're not blaming anyone. We're saying, look, I own my part in the relationship, and at times I was dysfunctional too, and I wasn't really healed as well, and I had insecurities and I had codependency issues. It's just about taking that level of responsibility and accountability for yourself in that relationship. That's what's really going to kind of make or break you at this point, because when you are going through, breakup recovery is not just about, okay, let me get back to me and do all the things that I really love and hang out with friends. Yes, there are so many aspects of breakup recovery that are very important, but this is the fundamental turning point for you. Are you going to acknowledge that there is a part of you that is attracted to people that are not good for you? Abuse can only happen in a relationship. You can only be in a toxic relationship when you allow it to happen, whether you want to own that or not. The truth is that you participated and you played a role in this relationship. Either you were just as dysfunctional as that person, and maybe you don't even want to acknowledge that or take accountability for that, or maybe you just put up with all of the stuff that they were giving you because you weren't healed. The first thing I'm going to say is, regardless of how the relationship ended, I want you to take responsibility for how you feel. Because until you really do that, you're kind of chained to this person and what it is that they did to you. You're going to keep repeating the same stories over and over again that are going to keep you stuck. The first thing we have to do is heal and understand why we're attracted to these people. We're attracted to these people because really this person symbolizes something that we received in childhood or throughout our adult or teenage life. You want to see similarities between the people that had the most influence in your life growing up to your ex. Where are the similarities? And also, you want to look at your own self esteem. So, if you don't feel worthy, then you're going to put someone else above you. You're going to need someone else to control you to a certain extent, whether you know it or not. You are, if you're coming from low self esteem and not really having a true healthy sense of self, then you need someone to tell you that you're enough. You need someone to validate you. You need someone to soothe you. And of course, we all need these things at some point in our lives because we're not Superman or Superwoman and we can't do everything all day, every day for ourselves for the rest of our lives. We're not built like that. We're built to, show love and connect and have relationships. That's why we're not a tree. That's why we're a human being with emotions and things like that. But a big part of being healthy is being able to do all of those things for yourself majority of the time. So if you're not doing those things for yourself majority of the time, then you're going to unconsciously be looking for someone to give those things to you. So when you finally say, okay, I'm going to take responsibility for the fact that you're right, I don't really take care of myself, I don't really validate myself, I have a lot of negative self-talk, I'm constantly abandoning myself, I'm not able to soothe myself. And when you start really just doing those things, which is self-parenting, which is what I talk about all the time, when you start really learning how to take care of yourself, you start healing, and your standards in relationships begin to change very quickly, because the more you know how to take care of yourself emotionally and mentally, that becomes the outline that you go off of when you're going out into the world and you're meeting new people, whether that's a friend or a romantic partner. If you are going through a breakup or divorce and someone really treated you badly in the end, meaning they completely left you, abandoned you, cheated on you, lied to you, maybe throughout the course of your relationship, but definitely towards the end, then you are dealing with a lot of hurt. When you're dealing with a lot of hurt and you're trying to manage this and move through this and get through this, you have to learn how to validate and soothe yourself. It has to happen. You cannot feed every story. You cannot internalize what someone did as having anything to do with you. You really stop taking what someone did very personally. And I know that that is hard to do because you are an emotional being. And of course, you are going to feel some level of hurt. But there has to be a part of you that learns how to move away from the hurt a little bit in order to actually help yourself in a really positive and healthy way, instead of making yourself feel bad, instead of fixating on who this person was and what it is that they did to you. It is very hard to go through a relationship where you're being praised and then you're being abused. You're being praised and then someone's making you feel bad. They're putting you on a pedestal and then they're bringing you back down. And you're just kind of like ebbing and flowing in this relationship. This is where we tend to see cognitive dissonance with victims, where the victim at one time remembers these like little brief spells in the relationship that were really good. This is when the person will say, well, when it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad. Or they'll say, we used to be like this, or this person used to treat me in this way. And the fact is that that's not happening right now, or that didn't happen towards the end of the relationship. And they have to grieve and mourn the loss of who they thought someone was, or just how this person maybe changed, or maybe just honestly let go of that mask and show them who they really were. It's hard to go from thinking that you kind of have found the one to everything changing really quickly. When you are unhealed, you will be addicted to that level of pain. You will want to feel those highs in relationships again. So when we talk about specifically narcissism and we talk about how this person is constantly looking for the next high, call it narcissistic supply, but that they're not able to fill themselves up, and they're addicted to highs in relationships. They're addicted to that kind of like dopamine feeling that they get when they're in love. That's not love, that's just an addiction. And whether you know it or not, you are addicted too. You're addicted to dysfunction. You're addicted to someone giving you, a couple of breadcrumbs and you just like loving it and wanting more and more from a person that's not equipped to actually give you what it is that you really want. You're not healthy enough to really face that this person isn't able to give you what you really want and to walk away. Now, why is that again? That's because of how you were raised and programming and what you received throughout the course of your life up until this point, what your programming says about what love is. That's basically why we put up with what we put up with. The other part is that how we take care of ourselves, how we parent ourselves, our self-esteem is not intact. It's not something that we're working on every single day. We don't feel good about ourselves. We may think we do, but we don't. And clearly it shows by the people that we've picked in our life. So really, when you're talking about breakup recovery in this area where you're like, look, why do I keep attracting these same people? Why can't I see these red flags? Why do I get so deep into this relationship and then I'm hurt? And then I look back and I'm like, what's going on here? Why didn't I see this? You didn't see it because you didn't want to see it. It's not that you didn't see it. A lot of times, if you're at all, even slightly the littlest bit healthy, you saw it. You just didn't want to admit it because you weren't healed and you were looking for approval, love, validation, the fantasy, the dream life. You were fixated on getting something that you couldn't realize that this is not going to get you to where you actually want to be. And when you don't have like a really solid sense of worthiness in yourself, then you don't believe that if I just let this go for a minute, that I'm actually going to get what I want. And now I know what to do in order to get what I actually want in a relationship. So guess what? You're always going to repeat the same patterns. If you don't know any of what I just said, you don't realize that you've been programmed, that your program for relationships is dysfunctional. You don't know what it means to be in a healthy relationship. You don't know what that looks like. You don't know how it should feel. You don't know like what the outline is of what is it that I should be looking for when I'm out there dating. None of that's happening. You're not working on yourself. There's not a high sense of self-esteem and self-worth. You don't even sometimes really even know what exactly it is that you want. You know you want a relationship and you can probably, check off a couple boxes. I want someone who's loyal and kind and sweet and da-da-da, but you don't really know what that means. And when you start to date someone and you're getting emotionally invested, meaning you're starting to like this person, maybe you're even starting to fall in love with this person, because we can fall in love with the wrong people. We can fall in love with people that just are not good for us. So that's not hard to do. Just because you're falling in love with someone doesn't mean that this person's good for you. Because if that programming is off, if that programming is not healthy, if you're not working on yourself, then you are falling in love with someone based on who you are, and who you are is not the healthiest. Despite everything that you've gone through with this person, there is definitely a good chunk of you that have thought, I still would want them back. If they wanted to take me back, I wish that they would turn around and tell me how much that they missed me or loved me, or that they messed up. Like, I want that desperately. Really, that's your ego and your wounded self talking. Then, of course, what usually follows next is this like intense feeling of judgment that we give ourselves. I can't believe I'm even thinking those thoughts. I can't believe that there is a part of me that would still want them back. Like, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. You're wanting someone back because that's the program that you have in terms of relationships. It's because this person treating you badly, you took personally. And now you want this person to do something different, to come back and confess their love and they messed up and I want to change for you. You want all of that because that means that you're good enough. That means that I'm good enough for someone to change for me. You don't really understand how this actually all works, and that what they do, whether it's good or bad, has nothing to do with you. It's actually about them. It's about them within their own selves wanting to be the best version of themselves. It's about them being healthy enough to really value what it is that you bring to the table. If someone can't see what you bring to the table as being valuable, that doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means that the person can't see you clearly. The hard part in recovery is dealing with the facades that you sometimes had in your relationship. You thinking that you were just going to sail off into the sunset with someone who just isn't right for you. And it's not that, like I said, we can love anyone. So since we can love anyone, this isn't really about love. And it's not even about real compatibility. It's about where is a person at, and are they at the same place as me? And I don't mean in terms of, oh, they want to get married and I want to get married. It's like their values, their character, how healed they are, like everything that makes this person who they are, we're kind of like swimming in the same pool. If you're not swimming in the same pool, then a relationship, doesn't matter how much love you have, it doesn't matter how much you're attracted to this person, it is not going to be a happy, healthy relationship. It can last for 50 years and still be dysfunctional. So it's not about how long you can last. It's not about whether someone can change for you, because that doesn't exist. It's about finding someone that can swim in your pool and not worrying about whether or not you're attracted to that person. I never think about that. I never, even my clients, I tell all you guys, like, do not think about whether or not you're attracted to someone. You will be. You're not going to get into a relationship with someone that you're not attracted to. And don't repeat the stories that, well, I never find a lot of people attractive. Like that doesn't help anything. All you're doing is giving yourself a story based on the assumptions or maybe even the limiting beliefs that you have about dating and meeting someone new. It's important to understand that who you are attracted to physically has more to do with where you live energetically. Remember too, you will always be attracted to people that subconsciously are representing a wound inside of you that needs to be healed. So if you meet someone and you're attracted to them because they seem so charming and charismatic and they look like they just got it all together, there is a part of you that feels insecure. There's a part of you that feels less than. There's a part of you that doesn't feel like you have your shit together. There's a part of you that doesn't feel the way this person represents. What this person represents is something that I want to feel. Why am I not feeling that way? Once you understand why you're not feeling that way, why you have this lack inside of you, why you're okay with taking someone who is verbally abusive, why you're okay with someone treating you in that way, why are you okay with that? You're okay with it because of fear. You're okay with it because there's a part of you that doesn't feel good enough about herself or himself in order to say, no, that's not even attractive. I don't even want that because I'm not even attracted to it. And it doesn't matter what you say, it matters what you do. When you come from those spaces, you will just start attracting way different people. Because when you do meet someone who's a little unhealthy and not the best for you, you'll be able to spot it really quickly. You won't even be attracted to it physically, energetically, like none of that stuff. And it'll be easier for you to meet the right person because you're not wasting time on people that are just not good for you and you're not going to be happy with in the long run. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson part 2 of breakup recovery. Really and truly learn where your wounds are. That is so incredibly important. I will link down below or up here my 9 weeks to emotional healing course. That is it's a great start to learning why you are the way you are and why you're attracted to some of the people that you've been attracted to in your past. So I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next lesson.